We are the world, we are the children to make a brighter day. So let's start living and giving. We are the world, we are the children. Hey, hey, it's another Numerovational flyby, my friend. ¿Cómo está? Bonsoir. Peace. Islam. Aire. What's up? How you doing? Hey, what's up? Good morning, top of the morning, cup of the day. Great rising, whatever y'all want to say. Man, this morning, I woke up, yes, out of my dream world in the realms. I told y'all in this number 7 month, pay attention to those dreams. Bonjour. Pay attention to those dreams. But this time I woke up about words and the importance of words. And in the study of numerology, every word has a frequency. But because every word is a spelling of words, we have to be careful of the spells we cast with the words. Yes. After watching, last night I had a very long conversation with a professor in the martial arts, a brother, professor in the martial arts. We had a very deep conversation. He's born December the 4th. His wife was born December the 1st. And if you know anything about numbers, December the 1st, Richard Pryor was born on December 1st. So was Janae Monet. And on December 4th, people like Jay-Z was born on December 4th. But after I got off the conversation with him, he asked me about CMOS. And I directed him straight to KT because although there's many people that break down CMOS, KT in my assessment is one of those people that break it down from a very profound scientific perspective. And not taking away from anywhere else, Minister Inky does the same thing. It's just that sometimes Minister Inky adds too much. And for somebody like him, the professor, I wanted to send him direct information instead of looking through a lot of my brother Dr. Inky's stuff where he's more scientific and he can get into scientific also. I went straight to KT. KT was easy to find because sometimes, two energies. So I, say KT's was very easy to find because KT is very refined in what he does and how he does things, and he gets straight to the point as far as I'm concerned. Inky, he's more comical and want to have fun and do his thing, and by right, you're supposed to, especially being born under the sign or the numbers that he's born. He's much more exaggerated. KT is born under a similar number, but why he's a little bit more subdued is because Dr. Inky is born under the 30th, and 30th can be extreme with their animation and their entertainment and all that, and what they do in life. And KT is born on the 3rd, which is much more, they enjoy what they do, but they try to, because it's no other number attached to it, it's a little bit more calmer and a more calmer 3 than the 30, put it like that. When you're looking at numbers, and let's stay on the 3 for a second. 3, 12, 21, and 30. Those are different aspects of the 3. So any numbers that you see doubling, that adds an extra frequency, an extra vibration to the number before it reaches 3. So when you look at 12, you got the 1 and the 2. So although it adds up to 3, and many numerologists will break down the number adds up to 3, the 1 and the 2 is very significant. So the energy and the vibration and the frequency of the 1 and the 2 is there even before we reach 3. And when you have 1 leading it, that means 1 is the definitive ego, whether positive or negative, of that lineage of that number 12, 11, 12, or 10, 11, 12, all the way to 19 before it switches over to the ego of the number 2. So, saying all of this to say that when you look at variations of one number, you can find a whole lot in the frequencies and the vibration of a number. So if you're born, let's say, on the 10th, the 0 adds a certain dynamic to it. If you look at the number 20, although it adds up to 2, the 0 adds another dynamic to it again. And if you look at the number 30, again, the 0 adds another dynamic when you study the interpretations of numbers and how they're used, and why 0 is such an important symbol in mathematics. It adds extremity, it adds higher potential, it adds infinite potential, because a 0 can infinitely go round and round and round, either in either way. So when you have plus zeros behind any number, it adds higher potential. Like I've made an analogy that when you go to the bank, if you go to the bank today and you find only $10 in your account, you may be upset and low because you can't buy what you want to buy, but all of a sudden, someone blesses you, the Creator blesses you, somebody owed you money and put in an extra $10,000 in your bank, or added some more zeros to it. You go to your bank and like, wait a minute, yesterday I just had $10. Today I have $10,000. What a difference zeros make, especially when it comes into the banking system. Now we know there's a minus. There's people that are minus $10 and minus, and we know when we have a minus in the banking system, that we owe that bank something. And sometimes we get fined because we owe them, because we're trying to withdraw when we don't have enough in the bank. So the positive and the negative is used also in the banking system, the monetary system. So paying attention to that, 0 is always important. But getting back to words, the 2 words that I thought about, which is going to be totally extreme to all of you out there. The first word that came to me is the word rape. The word rape. And the second word, and I'm glad I talked about CMOS with Minister Inky and how they deliver their message, and Brother KT, which are both of them very profound and respected in what they do. And I had to send one of my professors in martial arts, a direct breakdown of CMOS without all the antics and stuff. I sent him KT, and if he comes upon, I'll probably send him an Inky. I guess I go through Inky stuff because Inky did a whole university on it. But I gotta make sure, because I'm sending it to elders that are watching, and some of them just can't take a lot of the extra antics. They just want to know the information. But 2 words that came to mind was the word CMOS and the word rape. And in numerology, the word CMOS, and when you connect the numbers to the word CMOS in the Chaldean system, Chaldean being that of the darker hue people of melanin, the mystical Chaldean symbology of numerology, it adds up to a number 26, which is an 8. And without doubt, we can say that Dr. Sebi was a purveyor and a promoter of the CMOS. Drank it every day. He fasted on it sometimes. He did CMOS fast. All of his students promoted CMOS. CMOS has become a big relevant thing, other than it was in the Caribbean. It's just that the Caribbeans and CMOS, they mix it with this, they mix it with that, they mix it with this, and so much sugar. I grew up in that family, so I know Irish Moss, CMOS, but I'm focusing on the CMOS because Sebi is born on the 26th. He's born November 26th. And it's not coinky-dink, although he may not have known the numbers behind it. Although Sebi did understand and believe in astrology and the science of astrology, I don't know if he understood numerology. But if you understand astrology, you got to understand numbers because you got to find birthdays and time. But the word CMOS, as spelled, SEAMOSS, when you do the Chaldean system, which is not the Pythagorean system. I want people to be very clear. It's not the Pythagorean system. In the Pythagorean system, the word CMOS adds up to 19, which is a 10, which is a 1. So it was destined to be number one, a number one factor. And because 19 in the compound tarot or Chaldean system, 19 is the number of the sun. And sun shines light on things. Suns, the 1 and the 9 also deals with health from another perspective, which is interesting because 1 deals with circulation and eyes. So when I look at the CMOS from a Pythagorean system, it adds up to a 19. I'm saying this for a reason. 1 and 9 in the health factor. 1 rules circulation, it rules eyes, it rules heart palpitation, and blood pressure. So right there, it tells me that CMOS can be good for all of those things. Just from a basic level of studying the numerology and the medicinal connection that it has to that word CMOS. But I'm looking at 1 and 9 also, because like I said, if you have doubling of numbers, you have to look at all the numbers in the compound or the doubling of numbers, like 19. So 9 rules the immune system. It rules heated ailments and heated diseases, like the immunity, keeping your immune system up and all that. And of course, dealing with measles, chickenpox, anything, flus, influenza. So you'll find that people that are very engrossed and deal with CMOS will go, and if they get a flu and all that, they'll drink just the CMOS tea and all that. And all the necessary nutrition and all the necessary minerals in there would help regulate your and help your immune system in some way, and also protect you from flus and measles and different types of things. So right there in the Pythagorean system, I see where the 19 is very significant as far as health is. And because it adds up to a number 10, 19, that deals with the Wheel of Fortune energy, but it deals with what's so good about it, it just that it is a number that says it has a fortune behind it. It has significant success that follows it if people learn how to apply that particular CMOS or particular CMOS in general. I'm just saying what word CMOS. I'm not going into the scientific words of the scientific names of the CMOS. That's KT and Dr. Inky's job to do that. I don't do that. I'm just showing you the mathematics, because the word, instead of saying the scientific word, you will not understand it unless you understand what CMOS is, or we're all connected to CMOS or Irish moss, which is ironically because the word Irish moss in the Chaldean system adds up to the number 11, which is a master number, but it adds up to the number 2, which is also a health number. CMOS in the Chaldean system adds up to a number 8, adds up to a number 26, and 2, 6, and 8 are health numbers. So right then and there, it tells me that that particular seaweed, that particular thing that we call CMOS, is good for your health. And like I said, in the Chaldean system, the word CMOS adds up to the 26. And Dr. Sebi was the purveyor of CMOS, undoubtedly. And anybody that came under him was the purveyor of CMOS, strongly. And CMOS is a word that adds up to the 26, and Dr. Sebi is born November 26. I can't make this stuff up. You can research it. If you're into numbers, I can break it down for you. But if I got it's right, I might just throw that up as the screenshot. Just to show you that, especially when you're dealing with the ancient systems of numerology, that's why I implore people to study every type of system when it comes to numbers, because numerology just means the study of numbers and how you can apply them, whether it's adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, whether it's to the human element, the name, the birthday, whether it's to words. Words are spelling, and words have a vibratory meaning in numerology. Also, the next word that came, which is going to be kind of extreme, is the word rape. In the Pythagorean system, the word rape adds up to 22. In the Chaldean system, it adds up to the number 16, which is a 7. 22 equals 4, 2 plus 2 equals 4, 16 equals 7. In my book, the number 22, which equals 4, and 16 that equals 7 are mental health numbers. So people that practice rape or rape others is not only connected to a mental health frequency of the name rape or the word rape, but also it can cause the victim to go through mental issues and mental problems because of those mental numbers that are connected to it. I can't make this up. I swear to you, these lexicon creators of these words, especially the English words, and if you go to other languages and they have a numerical system, you're going to find a similarity also. But let's deal with that word rape, because 22 is the doubling of the 2. And 2 is one of the health numbers, but one of the most emotional numbers in numerology. One of the most emotional numbers, because 2 is a water number, according to the study of and metaphysics science of numerology. And it deals with deep emotion. So when you have the double 2, that's even a deep emotion, but also people that are connected to that number have to be very careful. I would always tell parents that have children that are connected to the number, the 2s, the 4s, the 6, and the 8s, and certain numbers that they can be, gotta be very mindful, because they can attract rape or they can attract molestation to them. So even when I do sessions for children and I find a certain amount of numbers showing up, and when you're a parent and you do a session with me, I usually do young children for free. Young children under the age of 13 and under, I'll do them for free. It might be, let me say, I'm usually for 14, 15, 16. I usually go up to at least the legal age, which is like 16, 17 and under. I usually do, if you have one, don't have 7 children and then try to give me all, don't do that. But young children, I try to make sure I give them guidance from their birthday, especially if a parent is doing a session. I'll just deal with their birthday for free because the parent asked. And I think if parents understood vibrations that can be pulled towards their child, they can avoid a lot of madness that goes on in their family, or at least help to protect that child before things like that go down. Because a lot of us didn't have this type of science or metaphysics science to look at. We may have believed in the horoscopes or the zodiac, but we never looked at the metaphysics through the numbers and how a certain amount of numbers, or how each one of certain words like molestation or molested or rape has a mathematical frequency. We don't look at those things. But guess what? I look at those things. And I've been gifted to be able to see trauma in people, whether they've been through it. And sometimes I won't even mention it in a session unless they want me to talk about certain things. But I do, in all my sessions, recognize that you need healing. When you have a certain amount of healing numbers in your chart, like the 2, 4, 6, and 8, when you have a certain amount of the healing numbers in your chart, I can tell if you have more than, especially in your name and it coincides with your birthday, I can tell that there was either, you had to be very mindful of people that was probably either scheming against you for sexual activities, or people that may be attracted to you as older men or older women to have any type of, because those healing numbers, people that are born with those healing numbers are not only just healers, but sometimes healers go through the most hurt in life. Sometimes healers go through the most hurt. Like I've said it before, that I was tortured molested, tortured by my female cousins. You know, two of them to be precise. My male cousins, they was more torturous in the sense that they used to tie me up and then throw me from each other playing, throwing me around like I was a football. And no child wants to be done like that. My male cousins on my father's side used to do that, but they never did any sexual things. My female cousins, they did what they did on my mother's side, did it because they didn't like that I ate their food, and I ate their piece of chicken at that time at a young age. I was like 7 or 8, probably 9 years of age. So as soon as my mother went to work, they came in. I knew they was coming, and I didn't know they was gonna, pull me off the bed and strip me naked and swing me around and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know that. But people don't realize, although they are teenagers, and I'm a young child, I don't expect that type of stuff to happen because I'm not used to that as a child. So my male cousins did their torturous things because whatever jealousies or whatever craziness they have in their time, beating me up, and I didn't mind. I get beat up because they was trying to make me stronger, but I don't think they had to tie me up in a shirt and throw me around like I was a football at a young age, because it was still traumatic. But they never did any. They was very respectful. They never did any molesting or anything like that to me. So big up to those male cousins. But the female cousins, for them to strip my clothes and then decide to grab both my arm and my legs and swing me around and torture me throughout the night. And 2 nights they did that after my mother left. And my mother don't know this, but it's going to be in my book anyway. So it's going to be part of, because I have to tell that whole story. But when we strove to heal that later, come to find out that those 2 female cousins were raped. And let me say it again. When me and those cousins, female cousins, finally decided to talk, come to find out that they were molested and raped by either cousins or uncles in the family. So cycles could come around. And, they didn't, like I said, they was more fondling me and doing that foolishness and throwing me around and swinging me around like I'm a jump rope. When you're supposed to be in bed after your mother go to work, and then they made torturous, scary sounds as they was coming in. You know what I'm saying? You have to be, this is just to let you know that you got to be careful of the babysitters that you have. You have to be careful of the teachers. You have to be careful of family members. They could be females or male cousins, your best friends who might want to babysit your child. And given, a lot of us had to give over our children to people because they had to work. Men might not have a woman in their life and they might be a single father. Women might not have a man in their life and they might be a single mother and they got to go to work at night and all that. And I'm not blaming my mother, but it did create some type of tension and of course some kind of pain between me and my mother, because obviously I felt abandoned. And when males or female children feel abandoned, it creates a certain pain and hurt, especially from your mother, especially from your father, when you got that abandonment stuff. So I'm saying this because, again, the word rape adds up to 22, which is a 4, which in my book is a mental health number. And in the Chaldean system, it adds up to a 16, which is a 7, which is a mental health number in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. So somebody has to be willing to look at this from metaphysics, because metaphysics only means beyond the physical. Someone has to look at it from those angles so we can at least assist those that need to learn to be able to recognize the mathematics of their child. Now, every number can go through its depression and go through its rape or what have you, but I guarantee, because numbers are so absolute, the study of it is so absolute, guarantee you that there's a certain amount of those numbers that are around them that would attract it to them. Some may have gotten away when it came down to the point where the person was trying to rape them. Some people may have gotten away because of their complaint or their screaming or whatever. You know, some people have fought their way out of rape, both men and female, male and females, you know, and made it. So it's so important to recognize the spiritual, metaphysic aspect of words and the people you're involved with and the children that you have. That's why even when I started having children, I was very careful of how I dealt with the girl children. That's why I have a strange relationship with my daughters, because I always wanted to make sure the mothers take care of the daughters. I didn't really want to deal with the daughters like that. I'd rather deal with the sons. I would bathe them and show them stuff, because we're men, and I wanted to show them that men are supposed to deal with each other righteously. But when it came to my daughters, it was kind of crazy. And because I know that women in my family was hurt, I never wanted to hurt my daughters ever in that way. So I always made sure that if they was old enough to come by me, they were bathed by themselves. I asked them, do you know how to shower yourself? Or I'll tell them to go to, when I'm living upstairs, my mother lived upstairs or whatever, I'll have them go to my mother. And because women need to take care of women. Men need to take care of men and show them what it is to be a woman and what it is to be a man. In honesty, I don't feel or don't believe in that a woman can make a man, in the sense of making them become a man in that sense. And I don't believe a man can make a woman, making their girl child become a woman. They need the balance of the two. They need the two. And when you are lacking, that's where you're going to find a lot of the madness going on. When you're lacking either side, that's when you find this mental instabilities and things of abandonment and all that, because they either feel that their mother's not there or their father wasn't there. In my case, my mother had to work at night. My father worked at night as a paramedic, and he was also a club owner. Scratching my hands, money's about to come. So I look at those. You gotta study those different factors. You gotta study, and I'm a researcher. I love to research. Y'all seen my books, and that's not even all my books. But I also study patterns as a numerologist and a person who created Numerovation to help motivate people with the numbers. I study the patterns and sequences and cycles in my family first, in my being first, in my proximity first, and then I study outwardly. I study the celebrities, I study friends, I study all of that because it's important. And in my course, my basic holistic Numerovation course, I talk about a lot of this, but I gotta do an advance, and that advanced course might be another. I'm trying to cut it down. The last course that I just pre-taped and pre-recorded is 8 hours, probably 8.5 hours. My partner in that eToy, she could probably tell you, yeah, she still says she's still going through it. Once I did it, I don't even go through it again, because at that moment I was downloaded. Because remember, my course is in 8 hours, 2 links that you receive when you get my course. One is like 3.5 hours, and the other one is like 5.5 hours. So it's like 8 to 9 hours, but I say 8 hours. And the course is raw, uncut PowerPoint and chalkboard. I'm writing old school writing on chalkboard because it makes me, when I write on boards or whiteboards or chalkboards, keeps me flexible, keeps me in the game of teaching you at that time. So again, like I said, before I shut this down, I looked at 2 words which maybe seem extreme, but it was relevant because I woke up thinking like this. After I drank my 8 ounce of water, and my 8 ounce first glass of water, and I'm about to drink a second one, flushing my system. Because I went to bed with CMOS on my mind, I woke up with the word CMOS, but then as I rolled over, I thought about rape and the word rape and the word CMOS and what it means mathematically, because words has frequencies and energies connected to it, both positive and negative. Both positive and negative. But when it comes to words that obstruct and hurt people, it's no positive to it. It's just recognizing the need to how to help heal people from it. So a word like rape, if any of you sisters or brothers have been through rape, because it adds up to a number 22 in the Pythagorean system and a number 16 in the Chaldean system. 22 is the master builder. So a person that have gone through that has to rebuild their life, rebuild their trust, rebuild their mental health status and state. And they might have to go to therapy. It's just what it is. And when you look at the 16, that deals with creativity and finding balance. So that person, in order for them to rebuild trust in people, they have to be creative and find balance, and probably have to meditate and stay in their mind in a positive, because it adds up to number 7, and 7 is the number of meditation, manifestation, introspection. And when you get into because those two numbers, the 22, which is a 4, and the 7, the 16, which is a 7, are mental numbers according to my study of patterns and sequences and cycles. That word rape has an energetic way how to get out of it, how to heal from it, although you'll never forget it because it's a mental number. And whatever happens in that state, whatever you go through, whether it's rape or molestation and all that kind of stuff, it stays with you. And most people try to compartmentalize this thing and put it somewhere because they never, but there's people that can trigger it. There's events that can trigger it. There's television shows that can trigger it. There's movies that can trigger it. There's music that can trigger it in people. So family, study your mathematics. We are all living mathematics, like a person born on the 31st said, the great Nairobi Sila. She's a teacher and she's a great rap artist. I wish she would write and put out her book. I need to call her. If I'm thinking about it, I need to call her. A good book to get, family, is written by another person born the same day as Nairobi, August the 31st. And it's called The Power of Decision, written by Charles Barker. Very good book to have in your arsenal to study and learn about making proper decisions. Parents and children and adults. Parents and children. Power of decision, because he comes from a physical but also a spiritual concept on how to pay attention to the true conversation from within. It's just like last night, my friend, one of my friend fees, and what I mean friend fees, my friend for life, was thinking about mounting a TV on this particular wall. And I was staying by her house, and she gave me a room, but I was saying, and every time I went downstairs in her house, I know she wanted to mount it, but I said she needed to put like a stand there and put the TV. Don't put nothing on that wall. My spirit kept on saying that wall is not supposed to be touched. That wall is not supposed to be touched. So she tried to get it mounted last night. Go to figure. The way the house is built, and I'm going into spirit and decisions and moving with your most profound and positive, productive spirit energy. When the guy went to do the mount searching and all that, there's only one beam, and because the TV is so big, and then what you need to mount it is so heavy, it would not hold on that wall. So I'm glad he had the mount search, the beam search with his tool, whatever tool they're using now to beam search. Because back in the day when we had the mount stuff, we had to find, we knew it was 12 inches and boom, boom, bap. But for main big ass TV with the mounting that you have to put on that also has weight, and the TV also have weight. I'm glad she decided not to do that. And I'm glad that the person that came to mount the TV had one of those mounting beams or whatever to find mount, and realized that that wall would not be able to hold it. I already said in my spirit it was already not supposed to be. And I told her, I said, okay, you go ahead and do what you want to do. Don't be hard-headed now. And sometimes, you know, people born under that number could be a little hard-headed. So I'll just let it go. Hey, are your house that man? Are your house that? You know what? If it happened, are you? Not me. So, sure enough, the mount, and some people need verification and clarity. So, sure enough, the mounting expert found that it was not possible to do. And she more than likely gonna have to end up doing what I told her, what I said she needs to do anyway. It's just, that's why that book, The Power of Decision, is a good book to have. The Power of Decision. Sorry. Yeah. The Power of Decision, written by Charles Barker, born August the 31st. He's born August the 31st. Mental. It's a mental number, 31st. 3 and 1 equals 4. That's a mental number, but 3 deals with creativity and expansion, and the 1 deals with ambition, being dynamic and being also creative in another level of leading the pack. So that was someone that Reverend Ike referred us to back in the day by watching one of his stuff. So, all right, family, that's been it. If you do want to do a session with me, please text me your full name and date of birth through DM or text me over the phone. If you live outside the United States, use WhatsApp. If you live in the Canada or Caribbean, or you live in Africa or wherever, you can text me via WhatsApp. But if you live in the United States, Puerto Rico included, and the U.S. Virgin Islands included, text me via regular phone, and we can set up a session. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Okay, and if you want to take my classes, DM me or text me again. I have a special rate for the course. It's an 8-hour course, so the regular price is $222.22. The special advertisement rate until July 31st is $199.99 for an 8-hour course. That link that you will get to watch over and over and over again until I do the private one for everyone that purchased. Okay, so slowly but surely people are getting to it. You know, I know sometimes people don't have that money, but it's my time. And believe me, I already do a session for $100 every half an hour, or $100 for half an hour. $222 is nothing for 8 hours, or $199 is nothing for. I'm doing that for a reasonable price because I want you to get it. I'm not going to be here forever. None of us are going to be here forever, but universal principles will never go out of style. Universal modalities like astrology, numerology, cardology, Numerovation, my system ain't going out of style. I'm telling you, it's not going. I don't care what system you create, as long as it has universal principles attached to it, it will never go out of style. So I can break down a person's number born in February the 16th, 1333, or 3033. It will not go out of style. It will still have a significant meaning in that day and time also. And it will still be of guidance and a wealth of guidance if used correctly in those days and time. So have a great day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're watching this. Hit me up on Linktree, right here on the profile of King Simon Productions. There's a Linktree. You can get my books. You can join my YouTube channels. All of that is on my Linktree. All right. And those who do want a hardcover, signed hardcover, I only have, I think, 7 of them left. 7 of them left. If you want a signed hardcover, it is $45, and the price also includes shipping and handling. So if you want a hardcover signed by your brother King Simon, Numerovation for mental stability, hit me up on the DM or text me at that same number, 347 496-1022. It's a good present for other people. It's an easy read, but it's something that you really have to study and take into account. Do not just, it's a reference book. You can go to your numbers directly, but if you really want to make a difference using numerovation, study it to help your children, to help your cousin, to help your niece, to help your auntie, to understand your grandparents, to understand your great-grandparents. Study, and then I give recommended reading in the back of the books. So you can, and then I give you help advice to different health practitioners. I even give you the suicide line if people are going through suicidal thoughts in the back of the book, because it's numerovation for mental stability. And I make sure I put a disclaimer that I am not a mental professional. I'm just using the metaphysics science to give people guidance and understanding, a bird's eye view of what the numbers can attract and what they need to be careful of, and how to stay motivated. Just stay motivated. I just want you to stay motivated. That's why it's called Numerovation for mental stability. It's a guide for you to stay motivated in the times of a lot of this mental duress and mental stress. All right? Family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be strong, be great. Be numerovationally motivated, because this has been another numerovational flyby by your brother, King Simon Kweku, which only means that I was born on Wednesday. All right. Peace.